Hasan hates his Discord 100%. Yeah, I wish that I had any reference to that, but I got Hasan hates his Discord 100%. Yeah, I wish that I had any reference to that, but I got banned from Hasan's Discord a bajillion years ago. I only got reminded about it today. I was watching Hasan on stream, because I have no life, and he was talking about his Discord, and I thought I should join his Discord to see the cringe. But then, I was banned, and I thought, when the fuck did that happen? And then I remembered his mods despise me. His mods are like full-on, 100% full tilt, like insanely hated me back 2 years ago, and I bet they probably still do. I remember the drama that got me banned from there. Why'd you get banned? I think it was like, I think it was back during the drama with Hasan.
Wow, the environments in this game look really cool.
Guys, I know that it's hard to imagine now, but for a brief length of time, Hasan and I were about the same size. Do you guys remember those days? That would have been in like early 2000, or maybe like like early 2000 or so. For a brief length of time before Hasan fully adopted the like early 2020, sorry, not 2000, 2020, sorry, similar, okay. Early 2020, I think that he and I were about the same size, but then he entered
What is that
the
game,
normie
Psychonauts 2?
And hey, it fucking worked. No hate to a player. Anyway, for a brief length of time, him and I were about the same size, which is hard to believe now, but what happened was, Trainwrecks, you know, the gambling streamer, he was going to do a 2v2 debate with Destiny and Hasan versus Nick Fuentes and Sargon of Akkad, okay? But Hasan wanted to pull out of that debate for some reason. I forget the particulars. I think he was beefing with Trainwrecks at the time. He was beefing with them. So Hasan seemed like he was pulling out. So I messaged Trainwrecks, who I hadn't talked to before, and I said, like, hey, you know, like, if Hasan's not able to do it, I would like to do it. But then word got out, and then I said that publicly. I didn't want it to be like a snaky thing. I said, like, yeah, you know, I'll take that place if Hasan's not willing to do it. But then Hasan got really fucking mad at me. That was still really weird. I have no idea why he got, like, mad at me about that. But he got really, really, really mad at me. He was posting in his Discord about how I was like a snake who was like trying to steal his thing or whatever, and I was like, damn, man, I thought you were backing out of it. I just, you know, maybe he thought that was supposed to burn you. Well, I think that he thought I was just, I think that to Hasan, he didn't back out fully, so it seemed like I was being a clout shark, but from everyone else's perspective, it looked like Hasan had fully backed out, in which case my action was reasonable. By the way, this is like a memory I have that's like 2 years old.
Also, just genuinely, who cares if he didn't fully back out? I don't think I would care if Vaush, like, if Hasan hadn't backed out and then Vaush just reached out to Trainwrecks is like, hey, if either Destiny or Hasan can't make this appearance, I'd be down to, like, sub in. Like, just keep me in mind. Like, who cares? Like, who cares? Like, him being, like, an understudy. Hey, dude, I'd like to be, like, an understudy for one of your people. That's what it's called, an understudy, right? And, like, a play? That's what it is? It's called an understudy? But, yeah, like, yeah.
You know? So, I'm trying to remember this as best as I can.
Yeah, like a substitute. My mind went to understudy, but a substitute is what I'm talking about. Oh, yeah.
Anyway, Hasan did end up going through with it, and the whole debate was a goddamn meme fest, so, you know, you get what you get. So anyway, the debate ended up going through, but Hasan's mods were, like, shit-talking me so hard. I actually went into Hasan's Discord at the time, and, like, he was talking with his mods. They were all, like, I was in there, and they were like, oh, it's the snake Vaush. It's something like that. It was just some weird, petty bullshit. But it was, like, really weird and obsessive. Anyway, I got banned from there and have been banned since.
Get somewhere quick.
And nowadays, those guys probably hate me for a million more reasons. I mean, you know, I've not gotten less controversial since back then. I have only increased in controversy since that point. So. You know how it is. Yes, his Discord used to be full of tankies. I actually was mad at Hasan about that for a while. I felt like he enabled tankies too much. But
I don't know when this was, so, like, for reference, when I was a mod, there was certainly not very many tankies in there. There was definitely some. I specifically remember them, but definitely not, like, a crazy amount. There was some tanky ideation in there for sure. But
on credit, the dude did end up coming out against Tankie is pretty hardcore. You know,
What are tankies? They're like people that believe Stalin was right, Mao was right. These people, they're Marxist-Leninists. They believe in hyper-authoritarian dictatorships. They think North Korea is like a dream state and is like filled with rainbows and ice cream and fun and incredible water parks and shit like that. It's pretty wild.
back when his
They're honestly crazy people. They're synonymous with just being fucking crazy.
Hasan like really started
ML
getting
equals
like, larger,
tanky. I'm Marxist-Leninist.
I felt like he was ignoring the Tankie shit, but then he like spoke out against it pretty hard. And like, cool, fuck yeah, not gonna bitch about that. He still
Hardcore
is,
communists? No, I don't consider them like hardcore communists. Well, yes, they do describe themselves as communists, and we may agree that they stem from like a certain perspective or philosophy. I think they're pretty radically different. I think that's kind of the same as saying that like conservatives are right wing and so are Nazis. Like, yeah, but like I wouldn't use it in such a way. I feel like the implications there are a bit reaching, you know. The difference between somebody like Infrared or somebody like Vaush is so incredibly massive. It's like the gap. It's truly an abyss. It's a chasm between them.
Tankies in his chat usually talk shit about MLs. Yeah, for sure. I think.
Excuse North Korea being bad, blaming everything on the West blockade. No, that's not true, Zolk. At least the tankies that I've talked to did. Infrared himself said that North Korea was like not that bad of a place. So like I don't know what you mean. The people that are actively didn't Mel do the same thing with Vaush? Like they are absolutely North Korea apologists and say that a lot of the negative things that are happening from in North Korea are just American propaganda. And have you been there? Have you been to North Korea, bro? It's crazy.
So. When
So
he
no,
sees dumb shit
it's
along
not
with
as
the
simple as well. It's just because of the blockade. No, they straight up deny that like a lot of the negative bullshit is happening in North Korea and call it propaganda.
crusty anarchists. I'm fine with that. I don't care about people getting called crusty anarchists. I think there are people who meet that description. I think that for the most part, Hasan pushes generally a pretty reasonable like version of leftism. You know what I mean? Like there are a lot of leftists online. A lot of them are like impotent sock dems who like refuse to engage in anything beyond advocating for higher taxes. A lot of them are full-on fucking authoritarian tankies. A lot of them are like crazy anti-electoral anarchists and like ultra-leftists who are incapable of touching grass. And I think that of all these groups, Hasan, for the most part, it's got pretty generally reasonable perspective on all of it.
Okay, so I will disagree with him here, but this thing, and I say this as much as I shit on Hasan, this is 100% true, and I want people in my stream to know it. Hasan is really not that bad. Like, overall, like, I give him shit for being a slacktivist, or promoting slacktivism, and shit like that, which is true, and I feel like I can easily demonstrate that to anybody reasonable. I feel like he himself is a slacktivist. He pushes no bounds. However, I would take a slacktivist over a tanky, and with the fucking the infinity stones and shit like that, the time stone and all realities, dude. All of the fucking multiverse realities, I will take a slacktivist over a tanky any fucking day, right? I'll take him over somebody that is like propping up somebody like Professor Flowers and shit like this. Obviously, I'm not setting him the highest bar, right? I'm not setting him like, oh, like this bar is like incredibly high for like what he is. But like overall, it's really not that bad. It's really not that bad to have Hasan be the #1 political street. It's not that bad. We got it pretty good. Okay? We got it pretty good. He said some dumb shit about economics. He doesn't really know what he's talking about when he talks about, like, socialist principles and shit like that, but that's fine. That's not, like, the worst thing in the world. It really isn't. You know? I'd rather people be slacktivists and shit than active, but active in a way that causes it to be, like, the political climate to be, like, really, really shit. You know, that being said, I think he is really, really shit on certain topics like ACAB, his position on like how anti-cop he is. I truly believe that like people could kill a cop right in front of him and he'd just be like, yeah, but what'd the cop do? It's like crazy how anti-cop he is. But like it's only like those are really the only points that like that alone is one of the only things that I think he gets like so wrong that I think is like on par with what I consider to be, you know, really, really bad. Other than that, his position on economics and social issues, it's not really that bad. It's not really that bad. It is what it is, man. I'm okay.
You know,
I'm okay.
I don't agree with everything, but I do think it was...
Is that not misinfo and leads to harm? It absolutely does lead to harm. However, the harm that he causes could be so much worse. It's just like I'm not saying that we shouldn't strive for better, because this is part of the reason why I critique Hasan, and I think we should push him to, at the very least, be as ethical as capitalists and who are paying their fucking moderation team, who are paying their editors and shit. I think at the very least he should operate like a capitalist when it comes to paying for labor, at the very bare minimum, who make half as much money as he does. But, so I believe in pressing him. However, I also don't want to lose sight of, like, you know, it's not the worst situation in the world. It really isn't. It could be a lot worse. He could be, like I said, a Professor Flowers types, where he thinks that, like, colonized people, like indigenous people, can, like, fucking genocide all the white people and it'll be fine. No, he isn't. He doesn't pull any excuses for that Black Hammer group. He was outspoken about that Black Hammer group being really fucking cringe. Talking about land back in a really skewed way that was pretty similar, but targeted from like a black person's perspective as well. Like, he's pretty good on those. He's obviously anti-Tankie, which is really, really nice. You know, he's not super anti-reformist. In fact, he, I believe, says he's a reformist. You know, he's not like a revolutionary type. He's obviously not a Tankie, right? Like, just recognize we have it not super bad when it comes to this shit.
Be nice if Hasan committed himself to some kind of larger
tax compliance. What do you mean?
You know what I mean?
Could be Ben Shapiro. Like, yeah, and God forbid we start talking about what it would be like if he was conservative, let alone the variations that he could be on the left. Yeah, of course. Yeah, he could be Ben Shapiro, Candace Owens, Steven Crowder, and what have you. You know, he could be a whole host of these things. This is all true.
Or doing a giant GoFundMe fundraiser or whatever like that. I just mean, like, if he sort of attached himself to some like big thing, the Lord knows he is the size. I'm large enough that if I did a big canvassing thing,
Dude, the XQC voice is so fucking cursed, dude.
I could get local newspapers talking. Hasan could get national papers talking. So, I think it would be worthwhile. Doesn't he plan to? Maybe. If he does, that's Pog. I don't know Hasan's opinion on gun control. I think Hasan's gun control takes are pretty close to yours. Yeah, I just think that it's like a sinkhole of time and energy that lefties in America shouldn't be wasting their time on. Maybe if you live in another country, I think maybe you should do more React Andy shit. I do React Andy shit all the time. I do it constantly. I don't think I'm lacking for React Andy shit. It's just a matter of being able to draw into normies. The thing that I fear more than anything else with regards to
I don't really watch Hasan, so I'm probably wrong, but doesn't his ACAB eat the rich mentality empower the Tankies a lot? The eat the rich mentality isn't like as far as Tankie's like taking it, so kind of only in rhetoric alone, not really an idea. His eat the rich ideas are very much like a LARPy. Like, he says eat the rich, but he means it only in the capacity of like reform the rich and make it set way like people don't have billions of dollars anymore. He doesn't mean that we should like violently revolt against the rich, like physically take the ground, storm their buildings and shit like that. You know, he's nowhere in that pool or what have you. So in rhetoric alone, sure. But yeah.
Of the day, I'm so controversial.
Not rich like me though. Yeah, he means like billionaires. What has Ben Shapiro done for the cause he advocates for, like, besides talking about shit? I mean, he's literally gone on, like, shows and shit like that? Is that what you... Or, like, beyond, like, just talking in general? I mean, he started a business in news corporations, if that's what you mean. Right, isn't he a partial... Wait, am I wrong? No, actually... Wait, doesn't Ben Shapiro like run the Daily Mail? Or am I wrong? No, I'm wrong about that. I thought he did. I thought he had what was the thing that he did? It was I thought Ben Shapiro owned a news corporation. Shapiro besides the Daily Wire. Sorry, the Daily Wire. Yeah, excuse me, the Daily Wire. Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, that's what he has, and shit like that. Other than that, no, I don't know. I don't think he's donated to political campaigns or anything. I mean, he debates people on a political stage and shit like that, but yeah. Is Vaush streaming from his little sister's room? No, he likes those vibes. So when he says eat the rich, he means reform. It almost is like defund the police means reform. Well, no, I mean, I know defund the police. I understand that that's what these things mean. They communicate something different. I argue again. Calm Hasan and Angry Hasan are two different people with completely different beliefs. Angry Hasan definitely larps about, like, literally murdering rich people. Okay, nah. If you're gonna pull up the, like, landlord clip from, like, years ago, sure. You could make the argument his position has changed. I'd probably agree with you. I'd love to. I haven't seen any evidence of modern Hasan making any claims about literally killing, rich people. Nah, like that's not me. Do you talk about Jordan Peterson much? Not as much as I probably should. If we are eating the rich, can I call dibs on Hasan's? No, stop.
Doesn't matter how much content I produce. Everyone who will ever hear about me has already formed negative opinions about me. That's like the big doomer worry. I don't actually think that's true. It might be more.
He doesn't say that because it's TOS now. Come on, man. You can't use that as an argument. What if I said the same thing about like Destiny when it comes to like specific shit? You're gonna have to give me more than that. He's too big and brand safe at this point to say anything like that anymore. I don't really agree with this. Wasn't it like last year during the coronavirus shit? He was saying drag these piggies through the streets. Remember when you're crying over these people? Who do you think threw the first punch? And he's talking about like a cop being dragged through the street. Like, I don't think Hasan's as brand safe as people think he is. I don't know, Ahrelevant. It feels like we are letting this person get more influential and misspread info while Hasan is consciously unaware. I've made multiple arguments in criticism of Hasan, trust me. I don't think, though, that he is this supervillain that needs to be stopped, okay? This just has to do with, like, my position on it could be significantly worse and shit like that. I don't think he's that absolute garbage or what have you, but I'm, like, literally the go-to memer for, like, criticism. Hasan is rich. I don't think he wants to die. Nice. I still remember Vaush saying that cops get trained to place drugs on people's cars. Listen, all right, leftists are fucking morons when it comes to cops, okay? All right, that's true, sure. I don't disagree.
Become others, but I don't think the worst case scenario of that is true. I found you a couple weeks ago, even though I've heard horrible shit for years. I'm glad I gave you a shot. Thank you. I really appreciate that. It's very kind of you. I appreciate people being willing to give that a shot. It's actually very uplifting. I think a lot of bread/left tubers are at some kind of wall right now. That's always going to happen with political content creators during a non-election.
Cops have quotas. That's a fact. One, it isn't. Like, that is just not a fact. In many places, cops do not have quotas, and quotas have been highly criticized and like pretty universally as being quite bad for police officers. And two, in the places that they do have quotas, are you just saying that they all just plant drugs?
But there are ways around it. You just have to you have to find ways to work on projects outside of like just straight on politics, you know? Like doing normie stuff. Unironically, Hasan alternating between news coverage and reacting to like My 30-Day Fiance is some of the best shit we've gotten for the left online in years. You know? Like, if you really want to be an effective advocacy for leftism, you cannot expect every person who consumes your content to be some kind of, like, you know, beret-wearing, black jacket-wearing, like, anarchist, you know what I mean? I want people to engage with leftism the same way they engage with heavy pro wrestling, okay? I want normies to come home after a long day of work, you know? watch like whatever the fuck Jersey Shore is happening right now, like, you know, whatever the modern reality show TV shit people are watching is, The Bachelor. Bachelor in Paradise, there we go. I want them to watch The Bachelor in Paradise, and then I want them to turn on a leftist YouTuber who's scream reacting to like a music video, you know? And then at the end they're like, oh yeah, by the way, fuck the bourgeois or something. That's what I want, okay? The left needs to get better in getting people drawn into their politics without like explicit, hardcore political content creation 24/7.